Have you ever looked back at yourself a few years ago and just thought, man, what happened to my energy? You know what I mean, right? You still exercise, you eat reasonably well, you're sleeping about the same, yet somehow your internal battery feels like it's dropping to 20% by the afternoon. A lot of men notice this really unexplained drop in drive and stamina when they hit their 30s, 40s, and beyond. And honestly, most guys just assume it's the inevitable result of getting older. But what if there's more to the story? Today, in this explainer, we're taking a deep dive into the hidden reasons your energy might be plummeting, and we're tracing the evidence-based journey of one of the most talked about herbal supplements in the men's wellness space right now, Tongkat Ali. Which brings us to a pretty fascinating question. Can a 130-million-year-old rainforest root naturally solve a modern energy crisis? I mean, it sounds like pure folklore, doesn't it? But we aren't here to talk about myths today. We are going to look strictly at what the rigorous, peer-reviewed clinical data actually says about whether this traditional Southeast Asian plant could hold the key to supporting your vitality. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to journey from the ancient lore of the rainforest straight into the modern clinical data. We'll start with the origins of the plant, then talk about the modern testosterone problem, dig into the actual scientific evidence, and finally, show you how to navigate quality and safety in the market. All right, section 1. Let's dive right in and explore what this much talked about herb actually is and where it comes from. So, scientifically, Tongkat Ali is known as Eurycoma longifolia. It's a medicinal plant native to the really lush ancient rainforests of Southeast Asia, specifically thriving in places like Malaysia. For centuries, indigenous communities have harvested the roots of this plant, using it as a traditional male tonic for energy, vitality, and just general wellness. It's totally not a magic pill, but rather a really deeply rooted traditional practice. And it's so interesting to see how this builds into modern science. We've got official records going all the way back to the 1800s when it was documented by a British surgeon. Jump to the 1980s, and it started getting heavily commercialized, though honestly, largely without any regulation. But here is where it gets crazy. In the early 2000s, MIT, yes, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, actually partnered with the Malaysian government to develop patented standardized extraction technology. By 2011, Malaysia published incredibly strict quality standards. So we've essentially evolved from a 19th century botanical discovery all the way to a rigorously standardized modern supplement. You're probably wondering, why did MIT and these top researchers care so much? Well, it all comes down to these specific active compounds found deep inside those mature roots. We're talking about things like quasinoids, eureka-peptides, and glycosaponins. But the absolute most important marker of potency, the one scientists really look for, is eureka mono. That is the MVP. It's the compound driving the physiological changes we're about to unpack. Which brings us to section 2, the testosterone problem. We need to shift gears for a second and look at the medical reality of why so many men are desperately searching for these supplements in the first place. Now, 300 nanograms per deciliter. This number is absolutely crucial. This is the widely accepted clinical threshold for a condition called male hypogonadism. Look, modern life is demanding. Chronic stress, lack of sleep, the natural aging process, they all hammer your hormones. And when a guy's testosterone drops below that 300 line, he is clinically depleted. We're talking severe fatigue, losing lean muscle mass, and just a total, absolute loss of motivation. Your drive literally just vanishes. Normally, the pharmaceutical answer to this is standard TRT, or testosterone replacement therapy. But TRT is not without its issues. It comes with some serious risks, it's completely contraindicated for some guys, and it's associated with side effects like sleep apnea, fluid retention, and even prostate enlargement. Because of those risks, a lot of doctors and patients are out there actively searching for safer, evidence-based herbal alternatives to help support natural hormone production. So, does the ancient rainforest root actually work? Let's get into section 3 and see how modern researchers are putting those traditional claims to the ultimate clinical test. We are absolutely not looking at supplement marketing claims today. We're looking at a highly filtered, systematic review of clinical science. Researchers basically started with over 500 articles and meticulously filtered them down through incredibly rigorous criteria. They kept tossing out the weak data until they had exactly 5 high-quality, randomized controlled trials to analyze. And to make sure those remaining trials were airtight, the scientists evaluated them for any risk of bias. They meticulously checked the study designs and gave them the green light, finding the structural foundation of the data to be totally reliable and sound. So, what did they actually find? Well, when they pulled all the data together across the studies, it revealed a statistically significant overall increase in total testosterone compared to the placebo. the clinical data clearly points to a real, measurable effect. But here is the real kicker. Who actually benefits the most? The researchers split the guys into two groups. The healthy men, the ones who already had testosterone above that 300 mark, they saw a little bump, but the statistical significance was relatively low. However, the men suffering from hypogonadism, the guys starting below that 300 threshold, they saw a highly significant, truly dramatic increase in their testosterone levels. The data clearly breaks this down. It shows the healthy group having a relatively minor shift, while the group with the clinically documented hormonal deficit shows a massive, undeniable improvement. Essentially, if your tank is empty, Tongkat Ali acts specifically and powerfully to help fill it back up. Now, I know what you're thinking. Whenever we talk about increasing hormones, safety is the immediate concern, right? But the clinical data is highly reassuring here. The studies reported minimal side effects. Unlike some of the harsher synthetic compounds out there, it does not negatively affect your liver enzymes. And for any athletes listening, it doesn't even breach international sports doping policies because it keeps your natural testosterone to epitestosterone ratio completely intact. It's considered highly safe. Okay, so the clinical science clearly backs the tradition. But here's the massive problem. How do you actually find the real stuff? Let's pivot to Section 4 and talk about ensuring quality and safety in what is essentially a totally unregulated Wild West of a market. I really need to warn you here because product quality varies wildly. Listen to this. In one study that tested commercial Tongkat Ali products right off the shelf, out of 41 products tested, only 11 actually reached the recommended levels of that crucial active ingredient, uricamone. Even worse, some products contained absolutely none at all. A huge chunk of the options out there completely fail to meet the clinical standards we just reviewed. So, to empower you before you buy anything, here are 3 essential steps to identify a truly effective extract. Step 1. Ensure the product uses wild-crafted mature roots that are at least 5 years old. Young roots just do not have the potency. Step 2. Look for a standardized hot water extraction method. That's the specific tech developed in partnership with MIT. And Step 3. Always verify that the company uses third-party lab testing to screen for impurities and heavy metals. Never skip that step. And finally, if you take one thing away from this, make it this specific quote straight from the literature. The recommended level of uricamone concentration is 0.8 to 1.5%. That right there is the undisputed clinical gold standard for potency. If you're a savvy consumer, that is the exact metric you should be hunting for on any supplement label to guarantee you're getting the real deal. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today, and I really want to leave you with a provocative thought. How does seeing all this rigorous clinical evidence change your perspective on ancient herbal remedies? We've journeyed all the way from indigenous rainforest lore to MIT extraction labs and randomized placebo-controlled trials. It really challenges us to rethink that boundary between traditional folklore and modern medical science, doesn't it? I hope this explainer empowered you with the facts and leaves you super eager to investigate your own wellness journey even deeper.